friends. I'm Lulu, and welcome to Judson Sunday Arts, where people of all ages can make art that matters. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and for those of you joining us with low vision, I'm a white 34-year-old woman with a very short buzz cut with dirty blonde hair, and I'm wearing a dress that's navy blue with really big beige parakeets on it, and behind me there's a bookcase and art on the walls. Today, we are making collages, or vision boards, that celebrate Afrofuturism. You will need a large piece of paper or cardboard, or a poster board. Also, the inside of a paper grocery bag works really well. Pictures from old magazines, or that you've printed yourself. And markers or paint to add decorations or words. You can also make these digitally. You can use a free software like Canva, which I use for parts of these videos, or even a Pinterest board, whatever you prefer. If you tuned into Andy's lesson on February 28th, you'll remember a lesson about aversion, ambition, and the word no. And if you tuned into Michelle's service on February 28th, you'll remember a service about Black futures, joy, and Afrofuturism. Thanks to Michelle, I was able to catch up with some of Judson's Black youth this week to talk about joy and what they expect when the world is safe enough for us to start to see each other again. Highlights are included in Michelle's service, and it inspired me to make an activity for all of us to continue to think about what joyful, thriving Black futures look and feel like. Ambition means a strong desire to do or achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. Sometimes ambition is celebrated in people, and other times the word is used in a negative way, to put people down and make them feel like they should second guess the worth of what they're fighting for. Is it ambitious to demand racial justice and intersectional equity? Yup. Is Afrofuturism ambitious? It sure is, but it's also what's right. Let's watch a video about Afrofuturism from Vox.
When people envision the future in art, most often it's seen through a white lens. Only 8% of the 100 top-grossing sci-fi and fantasy films featured a protagonist of color. Half the time, the protagonist was Will Smith. But we're not all white or Will Smith. The future looks different if you look at it through the lens of Black experiences. That's why we have this thing called Afrofuturism. The term was coined by culture critic Mark Derry in 1994 to point out the lack of Black writers and Black stories in science fiction. But this kind of art existed long before the term Afrofuturism did. Just look at music. Jazz musician Sun Ra is probably one of the most recognizable Afrofuturists. He lays out an Afrofuturistic design in his 1973 album Space is the Place, which you're listening to now, and also became a film. The key is that his future was Afrocentric, linking his future self to ancient forebears in Egypt. These ideas were more politically direct and a lot more funky in George Clinton's parliament during 1975. In Mothership Connection, he connects the struggle of civil rights and we shall overcome to a positive future.
You have overcome, for I am here.
He not only references an old song from the Underground Railroad to escape slavery, but he slipped the desperate history into a positive, futuristic ride on his spaceship as evidence the struggle is over and we've won. So of course everybody wants to get on. And people did get on.
Hell yeah.
Or at least some 90s hip-hop heavyweights did. But Afrofuturism also critiques the way the future looks today, like Andre 3000 did on his AT Aliens verse.
If not, I wait because the future of the world depends on if or if not the child we raise gon' have that syndrome. I will it know to beat the odds regardless of his skin tone.
He wants his unborn kid to get the future they want, not the one society created for them because of race. And that's why he takes pride in the difference. And empowers Black people to fight to get what's ours. Because that's the thing about Afrofuturism. It's rooted in Black people having a better future for ourselves on our terms, like Janelle Monáe does in Queens. This is the common thread of Afrofuturism. To overcome the current way society remains unequal, there needs to be futures where those problems are solved. Afrofuturism shows us what that looks like. It looks like hope.
What did you learn about Afrofuturism's blend of science fiction with social justice? There are so many ways to engage in thinking about the future. Have you ever really thought about what an ideal or utopian world would look like? The world we're in right now certainly feels like a dystopia. There's a plague out there, and over 500,000 Americans alone have died, including members of our own beloved community and parents of our youth. We talk about returning back to normal, but what if normal isn't enough? What if we still deserve more? Like jobs that help you do more than just scrape by. The abolishment of ICE and mass incarceration. Reversing climate change. Healthcare for all. Disability justice. Clean water. According to Tim Fielder, graphic novelist and creator of Infinitum, an Afrofuturist tale, we have the power to show what an inclusive future looks like. We can show that ergonomic housing and transportation, food and water equality, as well as the dismantling of systemic racism, looks like. When a narrative is embedded with those visuals, it takes on more powerful connecting tissue. That is Afrofuturism. Fannie Lou Hamer is well known for saying, "Nobody's free until everybody's free." So today, we celebrate these true words by making our own visual representations of thriving Black futures. You know it, it's art making time. Today, we're going to make vision boards or collages that show this Afrofuturistic world looks like. Put on some Parliament or Outcast or Erykah Badu and grab those magazines and start pulling images of this equitable, inclusive, and accessible future. Be sure to ask your grown-ups which magazines are okay to use. And you can also find really cool images and inspiration by doing an image search of Afrofuturism. Also think about words that you can include in your vision board that express how this future feels. You can include quotes from Afrofuturistic thinkers like Octavia Butler and Tim Fielder and Benjamin Andre. Arrange all your images and texts into a collage and put it somewhere where you can continue to reflect on it. You could spend 5 minutes or a whole week creating your own Afrofuturistic vision board. If you love what you made, send it to me so that I can feature it on another edition of Judson Sunday Arts. Be safe, wear your masks, happy collaging, and happy Black History Month, friends. See ya.